Hejsa and Happy New Year. I think I can still say that. Today is Tuesday the 6th of January. Yeah, I think I can still say Happy New Year. I hope the year has treated you well so far. So as you can see, I'm unpicking a quilt block. This is for my Groundhog Day movie inspired quilt. I think I have a video about that somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, I had hoped at the weekend that I would have the main body of the quilt sewn together, but that didn't happen for various reasons, so I thought I would do it yesterday. But then when I laid out, so there's this type of block, and then there's also this type of block. When I laid them out, so they alternate, some of these ones were too small, about 1/4 of an inch too small on both sides. And weirdly, one of these blocks was 1 inch too big in one direction. At least that was quickly fixed. But for these ones, so I tried to give them a really good press. Like iron as hot as it could go. Steam, even tried some kind of spray, but that didn't help. So obviously the only solution is to take the blocks apart and redo them. I suppose I could have cut another bunch of squares, but there are 49 squares in each block, and there's 4 blocks that I need to fix. That's almost 200 little squares. Well, I suppose ripping the blocks apart is pretty time consuming as well. So, well, either way, whichever way I went, I would have to spend some time fixing this. So I decided I would rip these apart and then sew them back together again. So I'm not sure how these, so it's 4 blocks that I had to redo out of 15. I don't understand how the other 11 blocks are fine and these ones are not, because they've been put together in exactly the same way by the same person with the same machine. But I'm wondering if maybe these 4, if maybe the seam allowance was out even just a little bit, because in both directions there's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seams. So I think you could potentially lose 1/4 of an inch into those seams. I don't know, but I hope that once I redo them, that the problem will be fixed, and then I can get back to putting the quilt up together again. I really want to finish this by Groundhog Day, which is the 2nd of February. Not that it's something that people celebrate in the UK, but since the quilt is inspired by that film, I thought it would be nice if I could finish it by then. So I spent last night, or part of last night and part of this morning, picking 2 blocks apart, so I've got a little stack here. I've kept the squares together in their strips, but I'm not gonna worry too much if they don't come together exactly the way they were. This is really a scrappy quilt anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm a little annoyed that I have to take this apart and then sew it back together, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And if anything, I'm surprised that I'm being so calm about it. I'm sure there would have been times in my life where I would have just thrown it in a heap on the floor and just walked away from it. So now I'm just very calmly, although slightly irritated, picking it apart. And this morning when I was picking one of the blocks apart, I just put something nice on the TV and just sat there and just sort of zoned out while I was picking these apart. I guess my annoyance with this is that, well, this is not fun. This is not my idea of a good time. And also there are things that I would much rather be doing, like actually sewing the quilt blocks together, or working on some embroidery, or, well, anything. Right. And then I'm trying to pick out most of the threads, although not being super particular about it. And I haven't decided if I'm actually going to press all the blocks before I sew all these little squares before I sew them back together. That may be a step too far in testing my patience with this. We'll see. I think if I was super perfectionistic, I probably would iron them, but I'm not sure that I am. Although maybe the result would be better if I iron them. I can be more precise and avoid... No, I don't know. But I really hope that by taking them apart and sewing them back together, that will solve the problem. Because if it doesn't, then I really do need to make all new blocks with all new little squares. But I really don't want to. That would be almost 200 little squares I need to cut. Or I suppose I could sort of strip piece some of it. That is mainly how I have made these blocks. I'd rather strip piece and then subcut than cut each individual square and then sew them together. But I suppose there are worse things that I could be doing today. I'm certainly not going outside because it's really cold. And the only reason I would go outside is that if the snow that has been sort of trying since late this morning, if it becomes actual proper snowing, then I will go for a walk in it. I love walking in the snow. But we're unlikely to get loads of snow. I'm sure you've been in a situation like this, where the only option was to unpick something. I just really wish that these blocks weren't so big and had so many parts. But it's the only thing to do. So I'm going to carry on with this for quite some time. And keep your fingers crossed that this will actually solve the problem. And if I hopefully have it solved, then I will add a little to the end of the video. Otherwise, well, if there's no solution at the end of the video, you'll know that it's not solved. That is the life of a quilter. You're always problem solving, aren't you? So thank you for watching this little video where I moan about this quilt. I hope you have a great day, whatever you're making. Just popping back in here at the end to say that yes, I did indeed finish these troublesome squares or blocks. I feel like it took me ages to unpick I think it was 4 blocks that weren't quite the right size. When I sewed one of them together and I measured it, at first it seemed like it hadn't made any difference, but when I just stretched it slightly, then it was fine. So yeah, now they're all done. Everything for this quilt top is sewn together, apart from the borders. I've got another 2 borders to make, and then I can put the whole thing together. If I hadn't had the problem with those 4 blocks, then I think now I would have been at the point where I would be basting it together, but I guess that will have to wait a little bit longer. Anyway, just to say that problem solved, quilt is back on track, sort of. Anyway, take care.